Good afternoon from a warm and sunny Bassetlaw. I'd like to extend a very warm welcome to everyone that is joining us today to participate in the Wampanoag Perspectives Conference. The conference is being led by Bassetlaw District Council with our partners, Nottinghamshire County Council and the Arts Council, and we're very, very grateful to them for their support. My name is Sandra Withington, and I used to work for Bassetlaw District Council. I retired at the end of last year, and I've been invited today to spend a few moments putting into context our relationship, or Bassetlaw District Council's relationship with the Wampanoag, with the Arts Council, and how this conference came about. So just a little bit of housekeeping to start with. We personally don't have any fire alarms planned today. If you hear a fire alarm, I suggest it may be your own oven and you might want to check that, but we're all fine here. Um, other housekeeping, if you look on the screen, you'll see that there are icons of tables on the left and right of the screen, and that they are help desks. If you've got any issues, please just click onto the help desk, let them know the issues, and hopefully we'll be able to extend some support to you. There will be opportunities to submit questions. We're going to have a question and answer session with Paula Peters later on in the day. So without further ado, allow me to just tell you a little bit about Bassetlaw District Council and our relationship with the Wampanoag. It goes back to around 2012. I was working with the council as development and marketing officer, and we started thinking about the commemorative anniversary in 2020 of the Mayflower sailing. And I must say that Bassetlaw District Council put so much resource into planning for 2020 in terms of money and uh, staffing to make sure that we pulled our weight in terms of other partners that were also doing things for Mayflower 2020. And we formed local partnerships, which was the Pilgrim Roots organisation, a national partnership, which was Mayflower 400, which was all of the locations in the UK that had a part of the Mayflower story, and an international partnership, which was partners in Holland and the United States. So we put in a bid to Heritage Lottery to create a Pilgrim's Gallery at Bassetlaw Museum, and that was to recognise the importance of Bassetlaw because we had some key passengers on the Mayflower ship that came from our area. A fact that was not very well known and not very widely celebrated within Bassetlaw. So I can confidently say for the next 8 years, we did the majority of our work was working towards 2020 and what we could do to commemorate this event of national importance. So we heard around about 2016, we heard that we were successful with our Heritage Lottery bid, and we created something that I'm immensely proud of, which is the Pilgrim's Gallery at Bassetlaw Museum. If there are people here, and I know that there are people here from in the United States, which is wonderful. If you haven't been to Bassetlaw Museum and you haven't seen the Pilgrim's Gallery, it really is wonderful, and I urge everyone to go and see it. So as we were, once we'd heard that we were successful with our bid to Heritage Lottery, and we started thinking about our story and how we wanted to portray the narrative of Bassetlaw's part in the wider story, we started thinking about the Wampanoag and their story as well. And it was very important to us that we told their story sympathetically and accurately, and most importantly of all, that we didn't tell their story on their behalf, but they told their story themselves. And it was around about that time, 2016, 2017, that we were very fortunate to meet Dr. David Widener, who is going to be running one of the workshops later on today. He was over here in Bassetlaw doing an education exchange with some of the schools and talking about the Pilgrim Monument and the Wampanoag story, the Mayflower story from the American perspective. And I told David that we just got funding for the gallery and that we were very keen to tell the Wampanoag story. And it was David who put us in touch with Stephen Peters from Smoke Signals, again, somebody that you're going to be hearing much more of in one of the breakouts later. So Stephen and I talked, and he very kindly offered to write the narrative from a Wampanoag perspective for the gallery, provided all the photographs for the panels in the gallery, and it certainly is one of the most popular parts of the exhibition, and it raises lots of questions from our visitors, and it really is a wonderful exhibition within the gallery. So I was working towards what we were going to do events wise for 2020. The gallery opened with great visitors have given us excellent feedback on it. And then we started thinking about, and we were still in conversation with Stephen, and he provided help for us. In fact, he worked with us on one of the first exhibitions that we had in the gallery, was the National Day of Mourning. And up until then, we had always commemorated or marked Thanksgiving. And it was Stephen who told us that the Wampanoag actually consider Thanksgiving a national day of mourning. And so I think we were the first people in England that had the exhibition, the National Day of Mourning. And so we were working towards what we were going to do in 2020, and it was actually Stephen Peters who sowed the idea that what about us coming over, a delegation from the Wampanoag coming over to Bassetlaw and actually building a witu within the grounds of Bassetlaw Museum. I'm not going to talk too much about that because you're going to see a film in a few minutes, a documentary, which shows exactly what happened. But it was amazing that they were going to come over. And for me, it was going to mark the end of my career with Bassetlaw District Council, that I was going to finish 2020 on a high with a successful gallery that was open and a visit from the Wampanoag and a lasting legacy in the grounds of Bassetlaw Museum, which was going to be the Wetu. Unfortunately, as we all know, 2020 didn't work out for any of us quite as we'd expected. And so the visit that originally was going to take place in June of 2020 was delayed, first of all, until September of 2020, and then it became apparent it wasn't going to happen in 2020 at all. Every cloud has a silver lining, I suppose, and what we did do is learn to adapt and find new ways, because the museum and the gallery was closed, of reaching new audiences online. And I guess the conference, which had been part of our original plans, was going to be a physical, tangible conference held within a venue in Bassetlaw, has turned into what is now an online event. And it's wonderful that we now have an opportunity to have participants at the conference today from all over the world. And that really warms our hearts. I think we're all really, really delighted about that. So the conference today, the themes for the conference are themes which are echoed within the Pilgrim's Gallery, and that is the themes of acceptance, migration and freedom. And you're going to hear from our keynote speakers, Lord Mann and Paula Peters, later on today. They're going to be raising questions, and it's going to be, I think, challenging for some people, interesting, I hope, and challenging. We would ask everyone to be respectful, respect other people's opinions, and let's all enjoy this afternoon, and hopefully we're all going to learn from it. I think that's all I'm going to say for the moment, except to say that at the end of the conference, Isabel Richards, who I handed over the Pilgrim bonnet to when I retired, is going to do a wrap up, and she will talk about next steps, how we're going to proceed in the future. She'll tell you how you can get onto our YouTube channel later on to look at any of the workshops, breakout sessions that you may not have had a chance to view today. And without further ado, I want to now welcome Lord Mann to present the first of the keynote speeches for this afternoon. Thank you.